Okay, I'm about to roll in. You ready? Welcome to the International Football Goblet. We are back. Aren't you so glad? We are now in the round of 16s. The excruciating first round is finally over. Thank God I don't have to watch Egypt play anymore. And we found out something interesting. The World Cup curse is real. By the way, if you're just joining us, the reason this show is called International Football Goblet is because we here at the channel do not have any licensing for or Cup, so we can't use either of those terms at all. So we've been creative and come up with an alternative title. It's not a good one, but we're stuck with it. Anyway, back to football. There's been some heartbreaks, there's been some tears, there's been some unlikely victories. None as unlikely as South Korea knocking out Germany. Damn! No one saw it coming, but there was another force at play. The Football World Cup curse. That's been in place since 2002. When France, the World Cup champions, couldn't make it past the group stages. Who was to win? Brazil. Brazil comes along in 2006, makes it to the quarterfinals and then gets knocked out. 2006, who wins it? Italy. Can't make it past the group stages in 2010. 2010, who wins that one? Spain. And then Spain, 4 years later, guess what? Knocked out of the group stages. So it was only destiny that Germany was supposed to go back home with their heads buried in the sand. But what a spectacular way for that to happen. Them to get knocked out by South Korea, who had no stake in the game. They were going out anyway. The only thing they could do is maintain their pride and knock out the world champions, paving way for Mexico to go through by a hair. There's a whole bunch of footage of Mexican fans celebrating with South Koreans, finding random fans in the streets and hoisting them up. Even going to the South Korean embassy and forcing the ambassador to drink tequila with them outside the gates. It's actually the first time Germany has ever been knocked out of the first round of the World Cup since 1938, since World War II. Of course, the internet had a blast making fun of Germany for not making it through. This is my favorite one. To be fair, Germany never had a great track record going that far into Russia. History burn. Another reaction was from the Brazilians, who were still incredibly salty about that 7-1 defeat back on their home turf in 2014. Zero chill. Zero chill, Brazil. The only African team I was left supporting, Senegal, became the first team in history to be knocked out of the World Cup because of yellow cards. Their points were tied with Japan, and the only way that they got knocked out and Japan went through is because Senegal had more yellow cards than they did. Crazy, right? So now the only African team left that made it through to the World Cup is France. England and Belgium played each other even though they both had gone through already, leading to possibly the most polite World Cup game of all time, in which England was trying desperately to lose to Belgium. I swear there were some of those shots that were missed on purpose. You could see the players pushing each other and then apologizing, and eventually it led us to the most bizarre and sarcastic post-match interview ever with the English coach.
I think it's a pretty even game. You know, I thought they had some better controlled possession than us at times. Of course, we've had a double objective tonight, really, with half an eye on the knockout.
It is the consolation, though. You get an extra day to prepare now for the Colombia game. It's a shorter trip to Moscow, and you're arguably in the easier half of the draw.
Well, we want to win football matches, so...
If you'd really needed to win tonight, though, you would have brought on Harry Kane, for instance.
Yeah, of course. You know, I think we feel that the knockout phase, this was a game we wanted to win, but the knockout game is the biggest game for, you know, for a decade for us, so...
Argentina made it through against all of the odds, thanks entirely to the shaman powers of legendary player Maradona.
And another number 10 great of the game gives thanks to the heavens.
Who showed up to the stadium with the flag of his own face on it, fell asleep, got drunk, started speaking to the sky and throwing fingers at the Nigerian team before passing out and then getting rushed to hospital. Argentina, here's a message from the entire world. Please, please sort out Maradona. He's not in a good place. It's kind of scary. He desperately needs help. There's also been a lot of politics happening behind the scenes and sometimes even on the pitch, particularly between Switzerland and Serbia, in which 3 of Switzerland's players, Granit Xhaka, Xherdan Shaqiri, and Stefan Lacksteiner, were fined a total of $25,000 for raising the Albanian sign after scoring in their game against Serbia. 2 of the players are of Albanian descent. Shaqiri was born in Kosovo, the former Serbian province that declared independence in 2008, something Serbia is still pretending didn't happen. Xhaka's parents are originally from Kosovo with Albanian heritage, and his father spent 2 years in a Serbian jail. When asked about it, the Serbian coach Mladen Kristajic said, "I don't have any comments. I don't deal with these things. I am a man of sports," which is fair enough. And then when he was asked about the defeat from Switzerland, he said, "The ref deserves to go to The Hague." Meanwhile, Egyptian football fans are still salty as hell about their defeat to Russia.
People say that time heals all wounds.
And the fact that Russian players outran every other team in their first 2 matches. And when asked about it, FIFA has refused to reveal their drug tests. I'm not saying that the country that has a secret government program doping its own athletes is guilty of doing anything wrong. I'm just asking questions. So now, the round of 16s is finally here. And it's time to do some predictions. Where is Ahmed? Ahmed! Ahmed! Achman Ghonem. I have an idea. Let's play some South London grime and I'll guarantee you he'll show up, alright? You ready, Emre? Hit it.
Nice to see you. Episode 3, we survived the struggle, fam.
We do it, man. We're still here. We're still here.
What's going on?
All right, round of 16s.
Chat to me, yeah.
Let's talk about some predictions, man. What's gonna happen, okay? First game tomorrow.
Yeah.
France versus Argentina.
I mean, obviously, everyone's going to be rooting for France because they've shown, I mean, much more lethal offensive power.
Yeah, yeah.
You're talking like Ousmane Dembele, Kylian Mbappe.
They've been playing like a world-class team. Uruguay, Portugal. Uruguay, they played all right, right? Like they got through. They struggled against Egypt, but Portugal has just been dominating. Portugal has been dominating this whole game. They're one of the most consistent teams so far.
Yeah, I completely vote for that. Portugal, quality up front. You got Silva, you got Ronaldo.
Spain, Russia.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that Spain wins.
Russia still.
Hope that when Spain wins, the Russian fans come and beat the shit out of Sergio Ramos.
Oof, that would be 2 birds with 1 stone. Croatia, Denmark. I must say Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia. I mean, quality side, by the way. I think like Croatia is the black horse of this tournament.
I think so.
You know, they have guys like Kovacic on the bench. You know, Real Madrid player, but quality up front again. Quality in the middle. Modric, Brozovic, who plays for Inter, very good player. Loki again, but very good player. Perisic, who also plays for Inter Milan, one of the best left wing forwards for me, in my opinion.
All right, the one that I'm really looking forward to is Brazil-Mexico.
Yeah.
I hope Mexico goes through because I want to see Mexico in the finals. That would be amazing. But like Brazil's Brazil. You know what I mean? They're one of the favorites for the tournament. Yeah. They're the team that England desperately tried to avoid playing by losing to Belgium.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say that Mexico will qualify because, you know, there is a feeling that, you know, if you hear the interviews of the actual football players, they all saying like, we're here to win this tournament.
All right, Belgium, Japan. Japan's been playing well, but like Belgium is dominating this tournament so far.
Japan shouldn't have qualified. Senegal should have qualified. They played better football. Very unlucky on that fair play shout. Lucky
2 yellow cards. 2 yellow cards was the difference between them going through. 2 more. Sweden and Switzerland. Sweden is going to take this one.
Switzerland. My thing goes for Switzerland.
Finally, England, Colombia. Oof. Now, no one seems more surprised that England is through than the English themselves. They've had a rough 10 years.
Can we do this once? And you know, they always say about England, right? The whole fans, when they won 6-1 Panama, they were like, it's coming home. Okay, so can we do that song? It's
coming home, it's coming home. Tell the world that it's coming home to Colombia, bro.
Woo! The Scottish and the Welsh guys were trolling the English guys.
Oh.
Man don't dance, I dance. Yeah? Alright, done.
Got my wrist blinging in a German. Got my coach chain swing. Alright, Ahmed, thank you for your time. Alright, that's the end of the episode. Tell us what you think. Who do you think is gonna make it out of the 16 alive and make it to the quarters? Who is going to make it all the way up to the finals and ultimately win? Is Mexico going to make us all proud as brown people and make it to the finals? Please. All right, I'm out. Another upset in the World Cup was Australia getting knocked out of the tournament, ending up with 1 point at the bottom of the table. And sorry, does anyone care? I'm sorry. Half the office is Australian, and I'm obliged to mention it in part of the show, but really, does anyone care? Does anybody, do you care that Australia's gone home? Do you care that Australia's gone home?
Bye, Australia.
Bye, Australia. Sorry, Tamina.